You literally read me just as I start. Welcome in, Raiders. I'm about to go into ads, so I really appreciate your patience and understanding. My name's Kieran. I'm the LGG Destin, and we're playing some Holocure today. And then maybe some Sunhaven with friends. I don't know. Just so you are aware, ad is going off in a couple seconds. Yeah, ad. Okay, so I've decided here that I'm not gonna really care about those people who are watching ads right now because my stream isn't really starting yet technically. I'm just gonna vibe here for the next little bit while we wait for Twitch to get out of ads because ads. Did I just say asshole? I don't remember if I said asshole or not. I probably said but you can check the VOD. You can definitely check the VOD. But yeah. Honestly, I am super tired. I woke up at like 7 in the morning and I am going to be up till midnight and then I gotta be up at like 7 in the morning again. Yay! The daily life of a VTuber and content creator. Am I right? Honestly, I'd probably be staying up later. But that's not really the case nor the option. I am still working on new interactive stuff. I'm hoping for it to be ready on my return stream, but geez Louise, I have no bloody clue if it's going to be ready, the interactive stuff. So we're just gonna hope and pray. Hope and pray, hope and pray. Oh, big yawn. Big yawn. Big yawn. It's a big yawn today, huh? It's a big yawn today. Someone's fishing some stuff up in Holocure. That is not my job, though. Not my job, not my job, not my job. There's actually a bunch of fish in Holocure right now. I'm just hovering over the icon so I see a miniaturized version of it, and it's a bunch of fish. A bunch of fish. Here we go. Now that everyone is out of ads, I hope you guys are all doing well. Again, this is Kieran, the LGG Destined, and we're playing some Holocure today. And then maybe some Sun Harvest, I don't know. I was playing up with with Professor Friendship and the Cat Boy, so Cat Boy earlier, but they, I have scheduled Holocure, so that's what we're playing. At least for the first little bit. So we're here with Gura yet again. We're gonna try and do a couple more Gura runs before Gura graduates. I don't think I'm gonna do more than 2 runs today, though. Just because I know that I do not have the mental health around everything right now. I just wanted to dash. I didn't want to do this. It's fine. I haven't really had like a strong mental health as of late, which I'm really hoping my trip will fix. For people who don't know, I am going on a trip on the 23rd and will be gone. So my last stream is on the... It's either tomorrow or the 22nd. Did I schedule it for tomorrow? Did I schedule it for the 22nd? Hold up. Can I just check my Twitter? Yeah, I scheduled it for... No, my brain is saying I didn't schedule it for tomorrow. That I scheduled another stream for tomorrow. Hold up. Brain. Brain. My brain is lying to me. I thought I scheduled it for tomorrow, but just... Yeah, so my last stream before my vacation is tomorrow. So that's gonna be an interesting time. I need to make more strawberries. Oh, what's up, Static? You're gonna need to be a little bit more specific. There's been a bunch of news that I've heard. So some specifics would probably help. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I heard about that. Honestly, I am not... Oh, what? Can you please not? This is the problem with me trying to be Speedy Gonzalez. Okay. Okay. Honestly, I'm not surprised that they're finally doing it, but it's not something that I'm particularly like freaking out about. Okay. Again, I'm very excited that we're getting more Digimon stuff announced and more Digimon, like, support. Ah, shit, I should have grabbed credit card. I should have grabbed credit card. That would have been useful. Okay. Whoops. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Bum 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 bum. Okay, I'm gonna eliminate Hollow here. It's just not worth it for us. It's just Hollow is not worth it in this case. I'm not gonna banish Chicken Feather, but I definitely don't care for Chicken Feather right now. I definitely do not care about Chicken Feather. Ah! Yes, we want Researcher's Coat. Okay. We definitely want to upgrade Researcher's Coat too, because that will help us immensely. A lot of the stuff here will help us immensely. Bum 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 bum. Oh yeah, so today I worked from home in the digital world, and it was interesting because it's a holiday, right? And holidays are never busy. But they had requested that someone was in to help, which makes sense. They want someone able to... They want someone who that they know can do the job from home to do the job. So I'm just like, yeah, no, that's fine. I'll be on call center working from home. That's chill. And so I'm sitting here answering emails, like doing my standard stuff. And I'm just being like, there's not much for me to do at this point. Because the majority of the clients that I deal with have made it very clear that they do not want to be contacted today about, like, promotions and sales and stuff. So it's not like I can, like, do cold calls for travel. Like, that'd just be, like, not great. And then I'm just sitting here being like, what is there for me to do? I did answer calls and stuff, but, like, the phones were so dead. They're mainly dead because, so, there's like a queue for like call center agents, and then there's a queue for office agents. If someone calls an office, it goes into the office queue. If someone calls for the call center, they get the call center queue. Makes sense. Like, that's all very logical. But because it was so dead today and no one's calling the offices because everyone knows we're closed, like, my queue was dead. Roll. Yes, we will grab study glasses. I'd like more EXP, please. Come on. Something fell somewhere. Something fell somewhere always. Okay, I just want to triple check. Yeah, it's fan beam I want. Although, I will grab spider cooking for now. Just to make my, impromptu running between enemies a little bit... I don't want to say safer. Because that's not necessarily the case. But make my impromptu running between enemies a little bit more standard. Okay, let's see here. Spider cooking! We cooking with spiders? I got hit by something, so I got some speed. I got some speed. Speed, 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 speed. Bum, bum, bum. Yes, give me more spider cooking, please. Yeah, right here. Right in here. Okay. I am not a pacifist. Anyone who tries to call me a pacifist is a bold-faced liar. And they are well aware of that they're lying to you. Yeah, I'm not, like, a cold-blooded murderer. But I'm not a pacifist. Okay, I managed to survive that. That's fine. Fan beam, yeah, yeah. I don't want to make Gura just another standstill to win and deal with my orbitals. There's already a character made for that playstyle. Okay, running around. Okay. Jeez Louise, this is just not going super well for me right now. Also, my brain is just not kind of wanting to speak right now. I think I am partially semi-nonverbal right now. Like, not necessarily semi-nonverbal per se, but like, overwhelmed, overstimulated, and just absolutely not having it. But that is fairly common for me, all things considered, though. If I was later on and already had, like, a strong kit, I probably would have gone for that Candy Kingdom option, but I am not. And this will probably give me a random item, because I haven't gotten... We are not taking sausage right now. Okay. Okay. I'm fine. I'm fine. Don't mind me, just kind of casually spinning around. Oh, wow. Here we go. Oh god, now it's the fan wars. Oh jeez. It's wartime, guys! The deadbeats are coming on to us. But girl, we'll purify them all. We'll purify Maurice fans for her. Like a good friend will. Purifying your friend's fan. Like a good person. I will eventually need to step further into the middle here to grab this EXP. Okay. I now have idle. The idle songs maxed. Bum, bum, bum. So just need to work on the glow sticks. Okay. Honestly, so far so good. Wow! I am corralling them. Look at all this. Oh, the glorious EXP jump. It's a glorious EXP jump. Very nice. Oh. That's why we didn't upgrade that. Okay. And then we're gonna get our glow stick to max here. We're not super concerned right now. We should eventually get a golden something spawn. Okay. No, let's do something different. Let's create an Ultra Abomination with Ian Curse. Let's create an Ultra Abomination and we'll go from there. Oh, that one was a close call. I would like it if you would stop jumping me. Would like it if you would stop jumping on me, please, Ame. Okay. I think it's kind of already chosen that we're gonna be doing the BL books, just based off of what was dropped there. Oh, Peko Peko, I'd love to take you, but I cannot. Okay. Also, Ian Curse is just going to be very vital to us once we get to the larger groups. It's going to be very useful. And transparently, I'm fine with what's going on in-game right now. I have a strong suspicion I'll be able to make it to the end of this round, and we'll go from there. And while I do want to do more with Gura, I should probably continue. Okay. We will grab Super Shadow time. And we might as well grab memberships. If we want. Okay. But only if we see it. Shit, I didn't mean to grab that. I don't think those two items can be combined. Oh well. I guess this run's just a little nerfed. That's fine. In reality, both of them are pretty okay items, so we're not royally fucked. I'm just mildly annoyed with myself. That's all. Mildly annoyed. Mildly annoyed. Bum, bum, bum. Let me hippity hop around. Okay. Oh. You can see because I'm mildly annoyed about what I did, I am avoiding upgrading that stuff right now. Like the dumbass I am, eternally. We don't need lifesteal. I'm fine. Yay! My Final Fantasy XIV knowledge! Basic rating mechanics! Come in handy in other games. Okay. Okay, here we go. Whee! Absolute chaos incarnate! I gotta hit with something. I wanna bet it was one of the running clocks. And here's the thing, I don't know if those things collab into each other or not. They very well could. And I just not know. Okay. Let me make sure that I have everything sorted. Okay. Ah! We'll do the last upgrade for this year. And we will just upgrade the bomb and see if it does bring us anything. I don't think it does, transparently, but it's fine. We do not need to hear the trumpet going the whole time. Okay, so far, so good. We still have about 4 minutes, I do believe, so this should be fine. Okay. go, good. Promising, promising. This run has been very promising. Can we reroll into something I can collab with? I said I'd take memberships if I got it, so... Because it is just a straight attack up at this point. And we do kinda need it. Okay. I don't know why blacksmithing gear just keeps popping up. Wow, wow, wow. Come on. Let me win. I'm sorry, saplings. I am absolutely annihilating you. Okay, we're just gonna go with this here. This is very clearly not how I traditionally play this game, so... that is fine. Okay. And now what are you gonna try and give me now? Just the last upgrade, I think? Okay, that's fine. Okay. Sure, we'll grab that chicken feather now, because we're probably gonna need it. Because I am not good with playing with Gura. However, I make their playstyles fit me, not conform to their playstyle, so... Okay. Look at all these saplings that I am just utterly destroying. Something's starting to shoot at me. Oh yeah, that's right. Some of the saplings now are like locked into location. Oh god. I have no idea what's over here. Guess we're gonna just go straight with the attack then? Oh, something's over here. Oh, it's a haste up. Unfortunately, sold. Oh, I should have grabbed the crit. Whoops. C'est la vie. C'est la vie. It's not too much, anyway. Oh my god, can you... Okay, okay, I'm fine. No freaking out. We're good. We're almost at the 18 minute mark. Oh, come on. Okay. Okay. And we're gonna sell that. Oh! As for Super Santa, we will get rid of you! The Santa S has been defeated! Bum, ba, 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 ba. Also, now Jello. Okay. Jello is good. But only good in certain flavors and certain situations. For example, I will refuse to eat Jello if you serve it to me warm. That is disgusting. Unless I'm in Mexico, and then I'll just smother it in ice cream. I prefer the strawberry Jell-O, but I can see where you're coming from with orange Jell-O, and I respect that. This one ends at the 24-minute mark, maybe? Maybe. I don't think this one ends at the 30-minute mark, so I'm unsure. I just gotta keep running around in circles and pray to God that me and Gura do not die for the next 10 minutes. Okay. Ah! I was stuck against a tree there. I had to run. Oh! Max health. Okay, at least I understand what's going on right now. This is not the most confused I've been. This is fairly simple to deal with. It's just a lot. Okay. Simple is simple. Bae, can you please die? You're a fruity bitch? Well, fruit and citrus. Honestly, that's valid. I like fruity and citrus things too. Yay! Clear a hard stage without taking any healing items. Yay! Okay. We finally got Gura to the same rank we have everyone else. Sugar-free Jell-O cups are pretty good low-calorie snacks. Only 10 calories if you're on a diet. Okay. As I've always been trying to tell people, I don't like the idea of diets. Like, the idea of watching what you eat and the idea of a diet are completely separate things to me. Oh god, we got a spam botter! Thank you, Undead. Anyway. But yeah, no, I honestly am much of a person where I don't typically care about diets. Like, if you want to go on a diet, go right ahead. I am not going to stop you. But I think that they're ineffective in getting people to their goal that they want. I think that there needs to be a long, sustained change in what you eat. Yeah. Going on a diet due to health issues is something completely different. Because, like, if let's say you are, like... So, for example, someone I know is going through chemo right now. And they were told that they should eat certain foods. They're eating certain foods not because they want to watch their weight. They're not eating certain foods because they don't want to do XYZ. They're eating certain foods because it's better for their chemo. And that's perfectly fine. Oh, I don't count quite enough. Okay. We're gonna go break some rocks. Actually, let's see. Oh, sweet. Okay. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. I am currently here. My body is where you eat a ton of fatty, sugary food and realize life can't maintain weight. That is just genetics. Okay, so people say that, oh, you were blessed with, like, you're, it's so unfair. Life's unfair. That is your genetics. I am in a pretty interesting predicament when it comes to genetics. Because my family, we have really good have really good bodies when we are younger. But as soon as we hit like 25, our genetics go to absolute garbage. So there's that. Okay, bought everything there. We'll leave that. We bought everything there, bought everything in there. We will buy the Achan doll. Yeah, we're very close to getting pretty much everything in here. I know eventually your habits will catch up with you and you say, oh well, enjoy life while you can. Yeah, that's my whole point of view, too. Like, so for context, I'm not overweight, but I am not skinny. I am decently healthy sized. But due to my bolungas, I don't fit into any clothes. Due to my honkers being too large, I have to wear like extra large women tops. They're too big. I used to be able to fit into mediums and small. And then one day, they're too big. Yeah. Well, I'd love to play with Gura a little more. I do want to play with another character here. Let's do another Anya run. Okay. I'm using this as a little bit of a cheat here. Do 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 do. Because look at this. I am super pleased. Ah! Yes. Guys, you guys don't realize how good that is. Come on. I need my weapon to be level 7 already. Let me get level 7, please. I want to sing. I looked it up. The average weight of a bazonga is between. Yeah, no, mine are. That is not what I meant. Because I'm assuming you looked up actual. Yeah, I'm assuming you looked up the actual statistic. I'm talking about the melons, you know, the girls, the giant things that are strapped to me at all times that are a really annoying pain in my ass. That every single male goes crazy over for some reason. Okay. There we go. Here's the skill I wanted. Now I can get any other upgrade I want. Every 40% of the pickup radius also increases the attack of all weapons by 2%. Sure, we'll take that. Because pickup radius is very important for our girly here. For Anya. This is fairly good at this time, actually. Oh, whoops. Healing fan, you ruined everything. You've ruined everything, healing fan. What do you have to say for yourself? We're also gonna eliminate Hollow here. Sure, we'll go for plug type. There's a couple of different things I can do with it. Although I do not think I would give Anya the plug type if I had to make like ID builds. But for now it's fine. Oh, hi! You get back here, you bastard! Okay, let's see here. Actually, I will let the game play itself for a second. Oh, boss bond. I was like, something's making a noise. And so you heading to bed with a good luck. Thank you for the look, MP. I really appreciate it. I did just check, and technically the average is about 3 pounds, but mine are like 8. So that will give you guys a little bit of an idea of why when I say I fit, I have to have extra clothes now. The chests say no. The boobs say no. Okay. I'm just gonna stand still here now. Anyway, back to me going ahead. No, I wanted to look at this image. This sizing chart's a little inaccurate. Wow. Saying the maximum someone's chest can be is 3 pounds is insulting. Especially considering that, like, I've weighed mine. Don't lie to me. I think sausage is actually the right play here. 1 second. Yeah, sausage is the right play. Sweet. So far so good though in this round. We've actually done pretty well. I know we're only 5 minutes in though, so that could 100% change. Why is my brain's running on nothing. My brain's running on empty, guys. I am sorry. There is no insightful thoughts right now. Actually, there is some, like, insightful thoughts I can give. On a current situation. So, honestly, right now, I don't know what's going on in the VA community. Well, actually, I know what's going on in the VA community. And it is the hot dog shit. Whether you are a union or ununionized VA, you guys should all be fighting for better working conditions and better conditions in general. The actors who are actively going ahead in the Genshin community and, pushing for MiHoYo to sign an interim agreement are, stupid, do not know Chinese law, assume that they know Chinese law, and assume that they know more than what they're doing. They are being, quite frankly, stupid idiots. And instead of keeping their mouth closed and just fighting for what they want. Because here's the thing, if they were doing like backdoor deals, or like doing like a private thing with MiHoYo, being like, hey, we would like you to sign this intern agreement and like, we understand this makes this union game, but like we'll negotiate for like our non-union colleagues that they can don't want this to become a part of the union, and we're doing that all silently in the background and weren't publishing it to the world, there would be no problems. But as soon as you announce that type of conversation to the public, it looks really bad. It looks super bad. And I don't agree with Genshin becoming a union game. I think that is 100% a bad idea. And any game that is not made in the US that is a live service game where they will need live service voice actors for a long period of time should not become union. So, let's say you are doing a long-running MMORPG. Your game should not be union. If you are doing a gacha game that you expect to be going on for years, should not be union. Especially if you're based out of another country. If you are a US-based game, it does 100% make sense for you to be signed to the union and be protected by a union and have that union game contract. As long as the developers are okay and can afford it. Because that's the other thing that needs to be thought of as well, is it worth it for the devs? Do the devs have the money to make a union game? Because a lot of times, budgets don't align. Budgets don't align, or there's other things that make it to where it becoming a union game is not a good idea. And people might fight with me and be like, oh, I don't agree with you there. Perfect, it's okay to disagree. What is not okay is going and screaming at a voice actor for taking a job who is located in another country and not affected by your strike and being like, you're a scab. What the fuck? That dude has no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Well, he speaks English, so he should. No, that is not how that works. Just because someone speaks English doesn't mean they are based out of North America. So for example, I know a bunch of people in my chat could be based out of Australia, could be based out of Europe, based out of Southeast Asia, based south of Japan, China. They could be based out of South Africa. That's all perfectly fine. I appreciate every single person who comes to my stream. But I am not making that assumption that you are from North America based off of the fact that you speak English. English is a language that's spoken around the world by multiple people and multiple cultures. Now, while there are a lot of regional dialects in those areas, not my problem. Not my monkeys, not my circus. Not my monkeys, not my circus. You know what is a problem, though? Is when English VAs in North America, primarily the US, act like they are the only VAs on the fucking planet of Earth. And they do this all the time. And then there's certain VAs that I have interacted with that have been so vile behind the scenes that, so for context, I used to want to be like a VA, like a anime VA. And I've done a couple auditions here or there. Obviously, you haven't heard my voice in anything, so they obviously have fallen through. I am not hung up on that. I'm a travel agent now. It's not... I don't give a shit anymore, frankly. What I do give a shit about... Ooh. Yay! What I do give a shit about is these VAs treating other VAs like shit. Treating it like there's no other countries with no other VAs. Treating, being like, oh, well, this benefits everyone. No, it does not. Because guess what? If Genshin signed up and became a union game, and let's say the union thing doesn't apply to those in Japan, and those in the English dub that are not located out of the US. Let's just say that's the case. Then they could, if they don't want to deal with the union anymore, could just say, fuck the union, and start hiring everyone out of Japan, out of Europe. Honestly, some of the best dubs that I've heard are European. Like, yeah, so the voice direction isn't always the greatest, I will admit, looking at you, Xenoblade, but like the actual like voice acting, when directed properly, is very solid. So I don't understand So I don't understand why a lot of these English VAs think that, oh, we're irreplaceable. No, you're not. You're one person of... Sure, why not? I'll take it. You're one person thing. Yeah, I feel bad for the VAs of Xenoblade 2 as well. They were given shit voice direction and then everyone shat on them. Even though when you can tell when they were given good direction, that they did fantastic. But because of how the game was recorded, like it was just not good. Like there is like very clear misdirection. And there's not much that the VAs can do. They're given no direction the first few chapters, just the script. Yeah, right? And that's what I mean, like, shit direction. Okay. Yeah, and the thing is that I don't, how do I phrase this without coming across like a bitch? I don't envy voice actors, because voice actors have it rough. With that being said, I think voice actors have one of the simplest jobs in relation to acting. Because guess what? All you need to do is act through your voice. Now, being good at voice acting is a different story. That is a lot harder. I will 100% admit that. But just the concept of going ahead and acting with your voice is not hard. It is so easy. People will be like, no, it's not. And I'm like, is that girl who's constantly in a voice call with this type of high-pitched voice, like naturally voiced like this, and we'll talk all the time about like their day and how they're doing, and we'll like coerce you to pay their Discord Nitro sub and get you to send them money off gifts on their Throne or their Amazon wish list. Exactly. A lot of, especially, I hate to burn bridges. A lot of anime voice actors are well known for doing that. Just their voice with a slight wisp or their voice with a slight downtone. There is no like differentiating, no voice there's no actual skill learned there. And then, so you may not know this if you're not wanting to be a part of the industry, but for some people who maybe do want to know a little bit more about it, to be a voice actor, you have to go to like seminars and like trainings and things, and this is where you're supposed to learn how to do the oh gosh, Joey, geez, whiz, like the more unrealistic voices. You're learning to like act more. Yeah, that's why I like the JP dubs. That's why I like the JP, because they have enough changes to their voice where like, is that Mamoru Miyano or is this XYZ? Checks. It is. Like they do enough to change their voice that it's not. They do enough to change the voice that it's recognizable, but not completely recognizable, not instantaneous, but enough so that they know it. And in Japan, there is a little bit, okay, actually this is where I think North America fucked up. So Japan, they don't really, for every gig, but some people don't give a fuck. A lot of people don't give a fuck. So something here that I feel like people in the North American industry don't realize is you will have these like 60, 70 some year olds, 50 some year, 40 some year old voice actors doing young boy voices in Japan. And that's how we get Killua, that's how we get Gon, that's how we get Naruto. They are these old women doing these kid voices. And yes, they bring them down and mature them, but these are trained actors. I cannot watch the Hunter x Hunter dub because of Killua. Gon, whatever. Killua had a deep voice, but was high enough to be childish and childlike. They just handed it off to whatever, like, I think they did, I forget who it was, but it was one of the female voice actors who tries to do what those other voice actors in Japan try to do, but she just can't do it. You can tell it's a girl, and you can tell it's someone who's not used to doing this. And it's not like... One second, my room is getting really dark because one of my lights turned off. So I gotta turn the other light on. There we go. So, for example, you can tell that Black Star in Soul Eater is voiced by a girl. No, I can't give the dub. I can't give the dub that grace, though. Like, in the Japanese, I thought his voice was a little weird in the beginning, and then it made more sense. But in the English, I can't. I've watched the beginning. I tried watching the Chimera Ant arc with dub. Like, I just can't. And, like, it's nothing against these actors when they're in their element. But when they are not in their element, and when they are... Actually, I have a larger issue with the anime voice acting sphere. Essentially what happens is that... How do I frame this without people on my neck? Okay. In Japan... I can get to that later. In Japan, they have a very large voice acting pool. And I do not mean like, oh, they have like 50 actors. They have over 4, 5, 6, 7, 800 actors. Like, they have a shit ton. So they can just send out a casting call and get 800 voices. Boom. And Japan's a pretty small country. If someone needs to go to Tokyo, it is a couple hours on the Shinkansen, or maybe a couple hour flight. But here in North America, and then also if you get like a big enough gig, your company, and you have to travel for it, your company might provide accommodations for you to record. Happens. But in North America, that does not happen, and we do not have that big of a voice pool. So what I find, and what I think is happening with the North American voice acting industry, is you get these directors and these people from Japan who, they know that they have a smaller voice pool because they have to just go with the people who are in the areas of the... They know that they have a smaller voice pool because they can only take the actors from the area. Now this is becoming less so with home studios, but general rule of thumb, the person has to be close to a studio. Which is unfortunate, but it happens. Anime voice acting does not pay enough in comparison to what other acting does. Now, there is benefits of doing anime voice acting that definitely will help you recover some of that cost. But a lot of that is going to be A lot of it is going to be the residual, hey, we want you to come to a convention, we'll pay for your hotel, we'll pay for your food, we'll pay you $900, or we'll pay you $1,000, or we'll pay you, or you can charge for your... Or you can charge for your... You're gonna go on the water. Or you can charge for your prints. Like, those are the type of things that make them residual income. They also have other forms of income, a lot of them. For example, a lot of them are content creators or streamers or have other jobs or do other types of acting. Because voice acting isn't just... voice acting, well, I think is the easier... The overall easier acting to get into, keep in mind being a good voice actor, completely different, is the easier of acting to get into, and get, like, larger roles in. I do feel that it is, like, doesn't pay as well. So they have to do, like, commercial acting or voiceover, not voice acting, but, like, voicing over, like, commercials, or being in, like, TV shows or movies, being maybe a background characters in other contexts and other medias. So they have more ways to earn money because they're an actor, and actors have that power. Now, with that being said, these voice actors that I constantly see complaining about money, complaining about job security, complaining about all this, it is a valid concern. But if you can't do the job, and actually, if you're upset with the industry and it being all ununion work, then maybe it's time to go. Or if you want to have your own creative freedom in whatever work you're making, don't become a voice actor. If you... Okay. If you want to have your own creative license, don't become an anime director. Don't become a manga translator. Do not go into these industries where you are changing work from one language to the other. Yes, adaptation is important. For example, people in North America won't get the Ichi-ni-san joke from Bleach. It's the go-to joke that I like to make. I'd like to point out, because that joke is very easy if you know basic Japanese to understand, but if you know zero Japanese, it doesn't make sense. Ichi-ni-san, 1, 2, 3. And that's what Ichigo's siblings call them, because Ichi is for the name, Ni stands for brother, san is the formal word for addressing people. Ni-san is how, like, some people will address their siblings. So, Ichi-ni-san. Haha, funny joke. Whatever. Don't need to explain that any further. But how do you translate that into English? You can't. Like, in reality, like, there's probably some other sibling joke you can make, but you have to A, match the lip flaps, and B, you have to do things. So changing that to another joke, understandable. Or changing it to something that's maybe story-oriented, understandable. What is not understandable is you deciding that you are going to put a political message in this funny haha show about dragons, or put, or change this show about someone cross-dressing and being a femboy to them being trans, or I don't know, strong-arming the company into making the voice of your character higher so it matches your natural voice so there's less strain on it. Or strong-arming your own ad-libs into the game. Now, if these voice actors are doing it in their own content outside, unrelated, because, like, again, some of them, as I've mentioned, are streamers or YouTubers or do other content, that is one thing. But I am not talking about that content. I am talking about them putting it in the main works. And then getting upset when they have a bunch of bigots in their chat complaining, oh, you changed this from the source material. And, or not even bigots. Like, I'm gonna out myself. I was actually kind of excited for that, like, I can't believe, like, it was like a cross-dressing, like, think it was supposed to be gay, but not really, manga, but then they turned it to be trans, and obviously, I'm non-binary. I am trans. You think they'd be pandering to me? No, I hated that. Because it's clear that's not what the work was intended to be. And if you change the work from its intended source, it's garbage. And that's the main issue I have with a lot of these voice actors, is they want more control. They want the work they are on to be only for them. Primarily with the unions. With the SAG-AFTRA. Or they only want to invite their friends in, and let's say if a director knows someone, they're gonna call the same 10, 15, 20 people to go do the roles. Like, that's fine. And especially if those 10, 15 people are good people, right? Like, if they are good at their job. Because we see that in Japanese voice acting a lot. There's a lot of voice actors that have significant role counts. That is just how voice acting works. You get more roles as you go along in the industry. You can't expect someone going from playing NPC number 12 to playing the pro tag in 8 different series. That's just not how that works. But the anime industry has been kept off, and voice acting in general for video games and anime in North America have been closed off for so long that I much rather hear other countries' dubs. And a large portion of why these groups are so small is the reason why unions should exist. Pay. Pay is the big one. Benefits. Job security. And, like, legal help. Now, the reason why I brought this up was the whole Genshin SAG-AFTRA thing. That situation is a dumpster fire. Because SAG-AFTRA, the game is not union. The game's not union at all. But they are paying union pricing. So perfect. They have AI protections through the company that is hiring them. Perfect. They have protections in other countries, including China and Japan. Perfect. Why do they want it to go union? Well, there's a couple other benefits. Like, for example, for some people, it would go towards covering their medical, because with certain unions in North America, especially like those type of unions, you have to do a certain amount of work to get benefits. If your company just doesn't automatically give them to you if you're with a company. But that is not this non-union game's fault. And if that benefit is going to help the actors, definitely. But the company has to outweigh the negatives. And in this case here, it means that non-union voice actors could and likely would lose their jobs. So we don't like that. But voice actors like Paimons and Ketchings have been mean, gross, absolutely rude. And then we have people like Little Karibo and other voice actors who are unrelated to the situation, showing how stupid and nasty they are, and showing what I have seen from these people in the past. I love a bridge series. I love a bridge series so much. And I will quote Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge any time of the day. Like, if I can think of a Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge quote, I will do it. Little Karibo is dead to me. And has been dead to me for a very long time because of his actions. And I am not going to comment on what those actions are because there is a lot. There is so much shit behind the scene, guys, that you don't see. And with these, especially with these anime voice actors, the amount of fallout I've seen from them is massive. So for example, the Vic Mignogna situation, an alleged sex pest. I have no beef in that. He could be a sex pest, he could not be. I don't have definitive proof in front of me. And honestly, I am not going to trust half the people who are saying he is and half the people who are saying he isn't. Because half the people who are saying he isn't are actual sex pests, pedophiles, asshole monsters. The other half are just like, we don't have enough evidence. I will distance myself, but I'm not going to, like, say justice for Vic or whatever. They're like, okay, just gonna not care about him. Like, I don't have enough information. And then you have the people who wholeheartedly believe that he did everything. I don't believe that he did nothing wrong. I do believe he did a lot of things wrong. And that he does not deserve to be in a position of power. But I cannot definitively say for sure if he did everything that everyone is claiming that he did. So I'm like in a tiny sliver between the two people being like, I don't want to say anything, and the people who are like, yeah, he's an asshole and monster. But I also know that some of the allegations are in really rocky territory, and I don't trust these voice actors. I don't trust a lot of people, transparently. And it's a frustrating thing, right? Because, like, I'd love to be in the voice acting industry in North America, but I know that it's not gonna happen because I have these opinions. No company is gonna want to hire me. Like, I can be perfectly professional and be like, hey, even though I don't like this person, that's fine. We're all good. We're chill. If they want to go for dinner, sure, why not? But I'm not gonna be buddy-buddy with them. I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm gonna die here if I don't find a place to stand still for a second. Okay. It's these stupid shooting ones that keep causing problems. But yeah, no, so it's not anyone's problem. It just sucks. And then you have them not doing good jobs at their job for some of them, and you wonder why are they still there? And you then have to realize they have friends. Jinwoo's English voice actor did do a really good job. I will bring this back to your comment, TJ. They did do a pretty good job there, and I liked that. And I think that is, like, the type of nuance that voice acting needs, right? Like, they need to have people who understand the source material. How do I frame this? You need to have people who know the source material of whatever they are working on. Because if you do not have people, if everyone working on the source material for whatever you're going on don't understand it, they're not going to be able to direct those high emotional moments in the greatest way possible. With newer franchises and newer media, 100% understandable why that can't happen. But like with older franchise or franchises that have been around for a while, there is no reason to why, for franchises that have been around for a while, there is no reason why someone who's directing it should go in with no knowledge. I'm gonna get us off Holocure and move us to just chatting while I talk about this more, because this is kind of a topic I have been wanting to talk about a lot more. Okay. Okay. Okay, now we're on just chatting, and I'm gonna grab some music here. And here's the thing, guys. I'm not saying all actors are shit. That is far from the truth. But there is enough voice actors in the voice actor community that are absolute dog shit and assholes to people. That is not the song I was looking for. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. So, for context, I have some pretty bad and negative opinions of some VTubers in the sphere. However, you don't see me starting drama with them. You don't see me talking shit about them because they're their own people, whatnot. And honestly, our communities don't align at all. I get anywhere from 2 to 15 viewers at a time, like currently. I am not large enough for that to matter. What I do care about, you, and not talking about you, Rio. What I will say is that these VTubers are shitty behind the scenes to people. And they can have friends and they can have like good relationships. Shitty people can be good friends and good people to others, to those they like. But they can still be shitty people to others. You're the villain, and so I know that there's people who hate my guts and would say, oh, Idol Digi's a shitty person. And I'll be the first one to admit I'm a shitty person. But others in this industry, in VTubing and in voice acting and things of that nature, don't like publicly admitting that fact. And it would be nice for people to publicly admit that fact than to not. So for example, I'm going to go to the Genshin controversy right now because that's the easiest and that's the most public right now and the most like fact checkable. So someone got a role in Japan and this role was being taken away from I do believe a North American voice actor who may or may not be affiliated with SAG-AFTRA. There's some conflicting information, but from what we understand, he was not, and then he might be now, or he could have been the whole time. Regardless, his affiliation with SAG-AFTRA doesn't matter too much in this case, because he was not on strike with this company. This company was not struck. MiHoYo is not struck. MiHoYo is not a struck company. People can still work for MiHoYo and not have any problems. However, there is a problem with union voice actors working with MiHoYo because it's a non-union company, non-union games. So Zenless Zone Zero, Genshin Impact, Honkai, Compact Impact 3rd, Star Rail, all non-union games. Nothing to do with SAG-AFTRA. Nothing to do with that. You then have voice actors like Katie Mills and Karina. So Ketching and Paimon's voice actor going out and attacking this voice actor, being like, you're a scab. I can't believe you took this role. Like, you should have at least taken it uncredited. Oh, you don't need to make this money, primarily with Katie Mills. You don't need to make this money. Your wife's the breadwinner. Nani the fuck? For context, this person has not voiced this character once in like the first patch this character came out. The prior voice actor. And then this new voice actor who came in heard that the other voice actor was leaving and was like, oh, this is the passing of the torch. Maybe not the right wording to use because they didn't know, but whatever. They're from another country. They don't know the situation. It was one patch. That character had been voiced for one patch. This is not them replacing Diluc's voice actor. This is not them replacing Klee or Kaya's or Barbara's or any other character's voice actor. No. This is a character who is voiced for one patch. And I can get it. If you really wanted to voice a character in Genshin, 100% I can understand how shitty that feeling was. But why were you not working? It is a collective work refusal. Okay. Well, why were you refusing work? AI protections. That doesn't make sense. The company that you're being employed through, side, has anti-AI clauses, and Hoyo has anti-AI laws because of Chinese law, and there's a bunch of anti-AI laws that are already in place to protect them in this situation. So that's not it. Oh, well, they want this game to go union. Great. What's the benefits of it going union? Well, this, and this. Mainly legal protections, union rates, and it makes it so that you could get health benefits. There is the other benefit, but this is also the downside of you get to work on it for possibly up to 3 months, and then you have to join the union. That is a problem. Because we don't know how that would be enforced. We don't know how that would be enforced. If it would be for the full English side or just those located in the US of A. If it's just those located in the US of A or in Canada or North America as well, then a little bit more understandable. But we don't know how that's enforced. We also don't know if everyone who is currently working on the game wants to be union. Maybe if they went around to all their non-union coworkers and be like, hey, do you want this game to go union? Do you want to be part of SAG-AFTRA? And if they're like, no, I don't, then maybe don't. But there is no way they can do that now. There is no way where people can go walk their little feetsies to Hoyo now and be like, everyone on this game wants to go union. Can we go union? For the English side, anyway. Because they've now caused all this public ruckus. And then you get all these other people, like Little Crebo and other voice actors, who are acting shitty. And I know that there's a bunch of voice actors who have the same opinion who have not spoken out publicly. Because they have good PR understanding. They know that if they talk out and talk shit about the situation, then they are going to get in some deep shit with the wrong side of the internet. Because no matter how leftist or right you are, no matter how left or right you are, whether you are a Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Both extremes can be really toxic and really nasty. And I have seen so much in several Discord groups that I'm in of people just wailing and wailing on especially a lot of YouTubers, whether they are drama tubers or not, being like, they're right assholes, or da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, they often post a lot of right-leaning bad content, because I have watched these creators, because I like knowing what both sides are talking about. And I'm like, yeah, no, they do probably post hogwash, but their line of thought here is actually pretty solid. And I get what you're coming from, but you can't be calling these people names if you're wanting to have an actual argument with them and have like an actual like debate where everything is civil. Honestly, I think half the people who are in the voice acting, VTubing communities that are complaining about this, or even content creation communities that are complaining about this, should all just go to a big debate club. A big debate meaning we sit the main people talking about how this situation is not good on one side, sit the people on the other side who think it is good, and then have the people who are neutral in the middle decide who's the winner. But you've seen how people have been treated on both sides of that situation. That's nasty. Now imagine all the little tiny stuff that I've seen. Oh, I received a comment because I changed this translation and it pissed me off because they said this was an incorrect translation and I just changed it to make more sense in English. And I'll be like, oh, what was the change? And they're like, oh, I changed it from lovers to girlfriend. Or like they changed like pronouns or stuff. And I'm like, like that is an adaptation. What was the sentence? And it would be like, I want you to be my lover. And I'm like, that's perfectly fine. And if it's gender neutral, it's probably gender neutral for a reason. Or I want you, or like they will use a gender term and it won't make sense. Like I've heard this before, and this here I can kind of understand why they would adapt it a little weirdly, but it's mainly like using more feminine words for a male character in Japanese media, or vice versa, using more male words for a female character in Japanese media. I've seen that a lot. And there is a lot of like gender stereotypes. Like boku. Like you won't typically hear a girl say boku. Actually, you won't hear even a dude say boku, like, in Japan very often, unless they're, like, writing something down, and then even then, that doesn't really happen. Because saying I in Japanese is not very common. Or, like, ore. That's also way hick behavior. I'd never seen a girl use... Actually, that's a lie. I know 2 girls who use ore in Japanese. But, like... They use it in like a joking way because we all know that it's quite funny. But it'd be like translating those terms like that can be harder. But translating like watashi into guys, for example. Like I'm just one of the guys, or something like that, when like it's just like watashi, like these are my friends. This is like oh, this is one I have seen. This is my group of friends. That makes friends. That's a good line. That's a good translation. Here's me and the guys. Why would you translate it that way? Is there like a meaning in this media? No. It's just a bunch of like guys working in an office. No one would say that in that setting. No one would say that in a Tokyo office setting. No one. That is way too informal. Oh, but I like how like it like humanizes these characters. You are not the author. Did they use boku? No. Did they use ore? No. Did they use watashi? Yeah. Then you make it formal. And like little things like that's like little gripes. And like seeing people complain about those type of little gripes online, it's fine. Like if you have like a different adaptation thing, fine. But it's when the same people do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over, and they keep getting gripe after gripe after gripe after gripe after gripe, and you're like, you should really stop changing stuff, or like you should like try to keep it more accurate like to what like the meaning is. And like you just try to give them advice or be like, hey, no, that'll set off the fans. Well, I know what's better because I'm the actual translator. No. I don't care. I don't care. I've gotten into fights with people on Discord about that. And then when it comes to voice actors, the ad-libbing. Oh, the fucking ad-libbing. Ad-libbing a line because you guys don't have an actual line that fits and it's a joke, whatever. Ad-libbing jokes is whatever, especially if you can't translate it, like the Ichi-ni-san thing that I mentioned earlier. Because, like, you gotta come up with something that matches the mouth flaps. But going in and purposely changing a line. There's a bunch of very popular instances where this has happened. Bad. And most of the time, this is the director. Some I do not do their jobs accurately and put their own twist on things, which changes a lot of stuff. Exactly. Undead has the point there. Like, and that is not why people want to see. And then in these, like, back group chats that I'm in on Discord or in on other, like, media sites, they whine when people complain. Oh, why am I getting yelled at by the community for changing this one line? Why am I getting yelled at for making this one translation this way? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? You guys, they're just a bunch of retarded people on the right. They're just fucking asshole, bitch-ass cunts. That's actually a line I heard. Asshole, bitch-ass cunts. Stop it. You need help. If people are critiquing you and they're doing so in a polite way, which is a lot of what they're complaining about, then yeah, fuck off. I don't give a shit. Now, if someone's sending you death threats, then I do care. Because, for example, in the whole Genshin situation, people have received death threats, and that's not okay. What's not okay is bullying a VA who just started in the game that you were also working in because they took over a role. You are, especially when these people have large groups of power. So ad-libbing lines, fine. Localizing to make a joke makes sense, fine. Localizing to make the lip flaps match, sure, that does need to be done. Changing the whole concept of the joke into something that is a political leaning, bad. Changing the meaning of the line, bad. Not understanding context of the situation in the series that you are writing for, bad. Making your workplace a hostile work environment, whether you are voice acting, directing, or anything, bad. Because I've heard that complaint too from voice actors. Stealing voice actors' stuff that's aimed at the company is bad. Because unfortunately, another reason why there's not a lot of people who want to voice act for anime is that, for example, there is one very public thing recently where a certain anime company was found out that they opened someone else's mail. Well, it was addressed to their offices. It was addressed to a specific person with name. Yeah, the company opened it. And, yeah. People who make a living off certain drama can go straight to hell. Yeah, no, I 100%. Oh! This is not to burn a bridge or anything, but I'm pretty upset with Lydia Nekozawa right now. Lovely, amazing VTuber, does some great VTuber news content, and they try to avoid drama. However, they have recently, with the whole Gura thing, tried to make it out to covers a black company and is terrible in some of their community posts on YouTube. And they're not using those exact words, I will admit. They're just like, like doing that whole, like, speculative, like, I think something's majorly wrong. Maybe they're like another company we know that is not well liked. Referencing Niji Sanji. And Niji Sanji is a black company. Let's just be real here. So we have that issue going on, and it's like really sucks. I also just realized I had music playing this whole time that you guys could not hear. Oh, wow. Wow, 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 wow. Here we go. But yeah, no, it absolutely sucks. And there's not much that people can do to change other people's opinions. So, and like, well, I'm upset with her. Like, she hasn't done anything wrong. She's come up with her own opinion. But I'm concerned, okay, especially with the whole catch-all. I think Mori touched on this very well. Disagreement with management is a catch-all for any reason to leave a Japanese company. For any reason to leave a Japanese company. And it's usually, like, disagreement between management can range from you don't like the new contract to, like, there is an actual problem in the company, like management's not helping you very well. It could be something like you don't like the direction the company is going in. It could be that you don't like the content you're being told to create. It could be that you just can't do that job anymore. There's a lot of reasons why someone would say that line. And Mori has said that she likes it there. She still likes working at Cover. And honestly, Cover has done a lot for Mori, so I'm not surprised. What I will say here, though, is that I don't think they'd be keeping any talent if Cover became a black company. It doesn't seem like they have a graduation queue, or it kind of does, but it doesn't seem like it in the way that we normally would have a graduation queue. It seems like here that they were given the contracts for the upcoming year, for their, like, renewals. Because, in VTubing, you sign, most of the time it's a 1-year contract. Sometimes if it's a larger company, it can be a 2 or 3 year contract that has like check-ins for if you want to leave the company. Sometimes they're shorter, sometimes they're only a couple months, depending on what type of role you're doing. But yeah, they'll have these contracts that you have to go ahead and sign. And it sounds like what happened is that a lot of people last fall were given their contracts and being like, hey, these are the contracts for the coming years. Please review them with your lawyers and what you want to do. And it also seems like there was a couple girls who were already wanting to leave. Keep in mind, each generation wave comes at a different times throughout the year. And they do typically sign the contracts a couple of months before the wave. So before the wave gets debuted. So let's say I was hired on by Hololive today. And let's say the generation was coming out later this year. Typically it'd be at least 3 months, sometimes more, until I would debut. So those 3 months are typically spent with any model corrections that need to be done, any type of pre-work that needs to be done. So if I need to record audios, or if I need to do things, this, that, and the other, that's the type of content that would easily be made. And that's fine. So you go ahead and you make that content, and then you debut. And sometimes the debuts are scuffed. Actually, most of the time they're scuffed. Sometimes they're not, in the rare case. But you know, they normally do their job well, goof off, have a good time, debut. They're gonna receive that contract probably about a month or 2 before they need to renew it, before they need to sign, because they need time to review it with a lawyer. And then, depending on how things work, people graduate or they stay when it comes to the contract renewals. And everyone in the industry knows this. Everyone in the industry knows this. But the reason why I go over it is because it's kind of important. And then, let's say 1 year, they don't like the contract. They can go to the negotiating table and be like, hey, I don't like XYZ about this contract. And they can negotiate to get the contract they want. But if it doesn't work out, so let's say here, Cover and let's say, we're going to say Cover and Gura because Gura is graduating. Let's say Cover and Gura could not come to a sustainable contract where Gura stayed a member of Hololive. Then Gura would be like, okay, I'm gonna graduate, and I'm gonna graduate on this, we're gonna negotiate to graduate on this date. And sometimes they'll just graduate on the day they sign the contract. Sometimes they'll graduate on a specified date between them and management. And sometimes they'll graduate on the day they debuted. Usually, I have not seen the day they've debuted. Usually, it's negotiated or the day they sign the contract, a negotiated date or the day they sign the contract. Which is fine. My big thing here with the whole Gura thing is that this has been well known within inner circles for a while now. As Maury said, that this wasn't a surprise to anyone. They just didn't know when it was going to be announced. And honestly, I can understand why Gura left. Gura is not in it for the spotlight. And Gura, his physical and mental health is not well enough. Some of the streams that we do know about have talked about her being unable to eat due to stress and everything. She is currently the biggest VTuber in active production. Soon will no longer be, but biggest VTuber in active production. So you could imagine the amount of stress that she has when she does stream and when she does make content. And also you should go watch Gura's newest music video. It is very pretty. Anyway, because she did just release one. But yeah, so you gotta realize that that type of situation, the entire disagreement with management was probably like, hey, I don't want to be a VTuber anymore. I don't want to be a VTuber anymore. I want out. And management were like, no, we need you to be here. We need you to be here. And they probably threw everything at her. They probably threw the kitchen sink at her and was like, you will give you this, we'll give you that, we'll give you this, we'll give you that. And girls probably just like, no, I don't want to be a VTuber anymore. Or no, I don't want to be this type of content creator anymore. And Gura has that, like, right. Also, hi, Darky and Night. Yeah. So Gura has that right to not want to be anymore because it's affecting her mental and physical health so badly. It's why Mume probably had the same issue as well. Mume probably also got the kitchen sink thrown at her of being like, no, don't leave. We'll give you this, we'll give you that, we'll give you this, we'll give you that. But no. Then the other thing we have to think about with these VTuber graduations is that the disagreement with management could be the money split. For example, the money split could be 50-60 or like 40-60. They get 40, management gets 60. That is not great. And if it is 40-60, then they're going to have some problems with keeping their talent, because talent can now, like it's been proven with Nimi and Doki and all that, that talent that have been reincarnated have power and can have sway still. So Gura, if Gura leaves Hollow and reincarnates or revives and just decides not to create the same type of VTuber content anymore, then they have the full power of one of the goddesses of VTubing on whatever new content they make, which is insane. And Hollow should know that. Honestly, if I was Hollow in this case here, I would have been like, okay, you don't have to create any content with us anymore. No content. You don't need to create any content as Gura. We can have you graduate as an affiliate. You can come back to Gura whenever you want. It could be for a stream, it could be for a concert, anything. No requirements, hands down, absolutely nothing. And you can go create content with whoever you want, by yourself with another company. We do not care. And you will not have to deal with anything with us ever again. We just get to continue to use her intellectual property, and you still earn residuals from her items. Have her graduate. Keep the IP alive. Maybe Gura shows up for a live or two if she wants. And then Gura can go reincarnate to whatever she wants. But no, that's not what happened. And it could be that Gura just didn't want that type of contract. Gura could have been like, no, 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 no. I wanna end my career and I just wanna go. And that is valid. That is 100% valid. So when I hear disagreement with management, I think of the whole picture. Unless there's proof of the management being toxic or negative, then I will not just worry about that. Now, there is one damning piece of evidence that could show that there could be some issues with management, and that is some stuff with Holostars. However, Holostars is treated differently than Hololive, unfortunately. Holostars are treated... They're my beloved precious baby boys, and they are treated with such vitriol by a lot of the Hololive fans, and are treated like second-class citizens when it comes to content, whether that is concerts, media, other things. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some issues in the back end with management, considering the whole Regis situation that happened this past year, with him having to go dark after his whole issue with his headset, with the, I do believe, his VR stuff. That should not have happened. Management should have fixed his thing and sent it back to him. But they didn't. He apparently got it with dust on it and, like, very clearly not touched. After months. That is horrid. If I was in my job and I did that, I would be fired. Now, sometimes to clients it doesn't look like I'm doing anything, but we have logs in the back showing what we're doing and showing what needs to be done. So for example, if a client's flight has changed, I'm going to the airline and talking and being like, okay, this is not going to work for the client. We need to do this, this, and this, and vice versa. Meanwhile, the client might not see that. However, I don't think you should send someone's thing to them dusty if you haven't done anything to it. At least make it look like you opened it and try to do something and close it again. Or wipe the thing down and, like, keep it clean. That is the only negative... Oh, that and Achanleben are the only real big negative things I've seen with cover right now. And even then, there's obviously more shit that goes on behind the scenes that are probably negative, but that's just Japanese company bullshit, because how much do I want to tell you guys about Japanese companies? Oh god. Fuck. I received a job offer to work in Japan when I was just graduating high school. I have a friend in Japan whose family runs a large corporation, and my friend knows I'm severely autistic and have a hard time finding work in the human world and have a hard time doing stuff. And I was offered a job. However, we had several long sit-down conversations about this, me and him, about what would be expected of me and what would be expected of everyone else and what my role and position would be. And essentially, I was going to be an English consultant, essentially a middleman between English companies and Japanese companies, and I'd be reporting directly to my friend, as he is currently acting as CEO, but not quite CEO of this company right now. And it was a big thing, and so essentially, I don't want to call myself a glorified secretary, but essentially that's kind of what it was. However, the amount of bullshit I would have had to put up with from people in the office was nasty. We had this sit-down talk, and we talked for, I think, like 8 hours about working conditions and about how things would work and about how my conditions would be different than everyone else's, but this is the standards. And I could be living in Japan right now. Access to where I can easily access all the media I love. Because I love anime, I love manga, I love J-dramas, I love K-dramas, I love C-dramas. I could have way easier access to all the content I love and want to consume. I could have been on the first cups of being a VTuber because honestly, that bastard would have 100% given me time off or changed my schedule to whatever the fuck I wanted, because we are still friends to this date and he still babies me like the absolute man he is. The only reason why he's not in here is because I forbade him from coming to my streams and showering me in money, because I don't want my growth to be based off of one person I know. But yeah, no, especially a close friend. I do not, like, working in a Japanese company is that bad as like a office worker. So I do not envy the office workers who work for cover. I do not envy the salaryman. I do not envy the long nights of overtime they put in or the missing of their family's events. I do not envy any of that. And honestly, cover, I can see probably being worse than my friend's company, because he was raised with very Western ideals and has implemented Western ideals into the company because he knows me and other people, and he's grown up and interacted with people from across the world. So I can imagine how much worse cover is for its management and for how management has to deal with stuff and the bureaucracy and every little bit of tidbit. I can 100% see. So for example, let's use Regis as an example. Gives his headset to management because management says that they'll fix it. Management puts it on the shelf, nice and tidy in a safe spot. They fill out a form to go get it fixed. They hand it to the correct department. That department says they need to get approval from another department. They write a note to that other department. That other department needs to talk to another department. So that department talks to that department. But that department needs to talk to the first person. But they're not actually allowed to talk to that first person. So they need to send a note to another person who will send that note back to them. And then they need to do that like 50 billion times to do anything with that headset. That is the bare minimum that I've seen at some Japanese companies. Also, hi, Murder Buddy. That is the bare minimum I have seen. And there is some days I regret not taking up his that offer of moving to Japan, getting that job. But first off, I wouldn't be here with all of you lovely people, so I don't regret that in that regards. But the level of condescending I've seen, and that is another reason why, bringing it back to the original conversation of voice acting, that is another reason why North American voice acting does not work. Because guess what? In Japan, voice acting is very different than in Canada and in the US. It's done very, very differently. And they can have a representative from Japan come over and be like, and approve the voices. Yeah, they can 100% do that. But they can only be, let's say, actually, I was there for the live casting of the Undead Unluck, one of the characters from there. It was essentially like a live casting call at Anime Expo. You go up, you say your lines, and you walk off. And then if you were selected, you went up and you did some ad-libbing for Lupin the Third, just so that they could test your skill. They had this man who wasn't from LA. I think he was from like Minnesota or something. I could be wrong. He was a perfect fit. Like, as someone who's read the source material, perfect fit. And hit all the annotations, hit all the tones, everything perfect. However, he didn't get the role. Instead, for a different role, they had selected someone who was local, who had already worked on anime. And who already knew people there. Why? And this is my big whole spectacle here. Is why would you do that? Actually, I have a suspicion about something. I'm gonna check something here. I have a sneaky suspicion here. Okay. 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 Okay, good thing my suspicions were unfounded because I would have screamed. I thought it was one of the voice actors I actually know online who was the person, but no, it wasn't, because the person who I thought it was not a great person in the Discord I'm in. But yeah, no. So it was not great. It was not a great feeling because I did go up for a role. However, with that said, I never expected to get in because I don't have a home studio and stuff, and I'm honest with those things, right? And I knew it was immediately not going to get pulled up there unless my options were stellar and I stuttered, so not happening. But for the other people who were really, really good, who had never been in the industry, who were perfect fits, because there was a couple of them. I don't know who was the person who said no, but it gave me the wrong feeling. And I know those type of public auditions, they don't limit people from the industry to not go up, but I feel like it'd be the same thing as like Karina going up, or what's his name? Okay. What to do? Okay. I feel it would be like J. Michael Tatum or Or like fucking like Monica Rial going up and doing that. Now it's different because those names are very easily recognizable. But my thought process still stands. But yeah, that's actually what's been on my brain for the past little bit, was people talking shit about stuff they don't know. And it really pisses me off. Like, I don't claim to know everything. And transparently, I don't know everything. And I will never know everything. People who say they know everything are very stupid. You don't know everything. And honestly, I don't know everything about the Hololive graduations, and I don't know everything about the Genshin drama or the voice acting industry, but what I can tell you and what I can know from hearing from people who work in the industries, and for people and for the contracts I've read, and for how I know things work in Japan and how I know things work in North America, things just aren't good. They're just not good. And it pisses me off. And like, yes, people can be assholes and rude online, and they can just be like generally like an asshole, but still be good at their job, right? I would say here that, fuck it, I'll admit it. I don't like, Emily. I think her music's fucking phenomenal. Like, 10 out of 10 amazing. I don't like her based off her personality, though. And that's no knock on her. I just have seen conversations and, like, I don't like her as a person. And that's perfectly fine. I can still respect her contributions and like her music, though. Like, but that's just my opinion. And other people could think she's a fucking fantastic person and an absolute joy to be around. And they'd be valid in their rights, because that's how different people are. And honestly, I think Emily's very unproblematic. I think that she's like very, not say so. Say so is not the right word. Pure. No, like very little drama, very little anything, like nothing can touch her unless something crazy comes out. Even if she has disagreements with people behind the scenes, like, it would have to be major. Like, it would have to be insane what would come out against her. Or she would have to do something catastrophic. Because she has so much goodwill and she's so good at what she does. Like, yeah, she's a scuff queen, but she's a scuff queen. Quite literally, scuff queen. And, like, I can enjoy her content, even if I don't like her. Like, she's that good. And I would say the same with other VTubers as well. I don't have to like them as people, but I can say that they're fucking phenomenal. But I'm not gonna say that about Karina. I'm not gonna say that about Katie Mills. I'm not gonna say it about quite a few different people who I have issues with the voice acting community. I'm not gonna say that about literally anyone that is in the adaptation industry right now for North American content. Even you, 7Cs, even you fucked me over. Regardless. Yeah, no, I think here that the industry does need a major change. And without a major change, we are not going to succeed. And we're not going to receive good content, and we're not going to have a good time. It's just the fact of life. Anyway, though, before I start digging myself a hole and telling you private details that I'm not allowed to tell you, because I've signed several NDAs and several things, I'm gonna go. Anyway, I really appreciate every single one of you, even though I got into kind of like I am super frustrated with everything at the end of, mid to end of stream, although I really appreciate you guys all being here. I hope you guys have a lovely day, and I will be seeing you tomorrow at 10 p.m. Mountain Time. That is midnight Eastern Time, and midnight Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Pacific. for my last stream before I go away on vacation. It'll be a pretty short stream, although I will have some benefits for if you guys gift or donate lined up. And I'm also going to maybe be testing out some features on that stream. Anyway, I hope you guys all have a lovely day, and I will be seeing you guys later. Take care. Bye-bye.